You're locked in to the hottest station on the planet.
Resistance is futile. The revolution has begun.
You're listening to Rebelpreneur Radio, helping you break the rules and build the business you need for the life you want. And now, broadcasting his pirate signal
from somewhere beyond the status quo,
here's your host, best-selling author, marketing and media strategist, Ralph Brogden.
Hello and welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio. It's the show that helps you build the business you need so you can live the life you want. I'm Ralph Brogden. As entrepreneurs and as people who want to succeed in life and in business, you have to get comfortable with the idea of change, with transformation, metamorphosis from where you are to where you want to be. The only thing that doesn't change is change itself. Change is a constant, and it is something that we all have to learn to deal with. Personal life, professional life, growing our business, growing our career. So today's guest helps people to navigate those life transformations and to get the most out of their personal and professional goals so that they can create and live the vision that inspires them. Today's guest is Andrew Dale. Welcome, Andrew, to Rebelpreneur Radio.
Hello, Ralph. Thank you for inviting me along. I'm very excited to be here.
Well, thanks for taking some time out to talk with us about what you do and how you help people transform their lives. First, tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you got started.
Okay. I'm an Aussie. I came over here about 9 years ago, coming up to 9 years. I love working with Americans. Americans are they're full steam, so it makes it easier to refocus because of the energy that people have. They run past opportunities. All I have to do is slow them down so they make the most of the opportunity. I love to sail. I sail on the Chesapeake Bay as often as I can. I've got a beautiful 36-foot sailboat that, my clients are always welcome to come for a sail. Any excuse for a sail. But I help people who are going through a midlife crisis, move from where they are to their best life. And we all have moments in time, and it's those moments that we realize that we've got to make a change, which reestablishes, because, we can live till we're 80, 90, 100, and most people are aiming at 50, 60, and they run out of steam. They don't know where they're going. And then, my mum played tennis till she was 88. She passed away of cancer shortly afterwards, but she won the world titles in tennis at the age of 87 in Florida. So wow. She was, mixed doubles and doubles. Yeah, it was just amazing. But, there's so much life left in us. And, people change. They change the world in the second half of their lives so often. And, we're just unlimited. We're born with this beautiful soul. And it's exactly the same person today as it was when we were born. All we've done is load it up with stuff. So my job's really just to help you find your soul again, find your truth, and bring that light out, make your life shine again. That's my role.
Wonderful. So, who is a good prospect for you? Who stands to benefit the most from your particular gift in helping people in midlife crisis?
Really professionals who really have, I've helped a lot of people, people who've gone through divorce, people who've got to a point in their career, their life, because everything's connected. If your love life's in a mess, your finances are often in a mess. It's all a big circle. We can't we can't say, all right, this part of my life's okay, but the rest is a mess. Your whole life is connected. So really, men or women, I find normally men, but often women come along, and I normally work through referrals. But people who've actually got to a point, normally in their 50s, people who've got to a point where they're stuck, they need a change, and they know there's more. You know, there's more to life, but they're just really stuck at the moment, and it's time to change. They're the people who can get the most out of my courses and my services.
So what is the biggest challenge with people that they're trying to make this change and they have to reach out and get help? Most people don't reach out and get help. They just suffer in silence, or they try to figure it out and they fail. Only a small percentage of people actually have the wherewithal to reach out for help, to recognize, hey, what I'm doing isn't working, and I can keep banging my head trying to figure it out, or I can get some help. So what is the biggest challenge you find with the people that you're working with that seems to be a universal problem that they keep running into all the time?
We tend to replay our past. And it's taken us, if you're 50 years old, you've got 50 years or probably 48 years predominantly of things that are affecting you today. In fact, the amazing part about it is if you're 50 years old today, your parents were parented 75 years ago. Their parenting started 75 years ago by people who were probably 25 years old or older at that point. So you're actually learning things from 100 years ago, and you're learning good and bad habits from 100 years ago. And that's why it's people don't understand, like, where did I pick up my bad habits from? Well, 100 years ago when your grandparents were born and teaching your parents how to parent, especially in America, like 75 years ago, you were going through busing kids into schools. Like that was very traumatic. And you're probably thinking, well, that was nothing to do with me, but it's absolutely ingrained in your parents and your parents' parents. All of that turmoil has come through in those early years when you're 2 years old and things like that. And and then as you go through your teenage years, often there's a case of bullying in there, or there's highs and there's lows, and people tend to remember the lows more than the highs. And as we lay out, as we go through and help people discover their future, I go back into their past and they're remembering things about, I was bullied as a teenager, I was no good. And it's like, but you were the prince, you were the straight A student. You were you were voted president of the class or whatever. So someone liked you, and they go, "Oh shit, yeah." Sorry, yeah. They suddenly realised that the bully was actually just irrelevant, And the moment they realised that bully was irrelevant, all of a sudden you've just opened up a whole new world, And it's quick, Like it's not like you go back and you relive every moment of 50 years. No, we're looking for key moments. You go through and hit those key moments and allow that. And, when I'm coaching people, the first 3 weeks is one week. But after that, it's every 2 weeks, because when I coach, over the next 2 weeks, I'll get a totally different reaction. I can use the same question for every session for, 3 months and get a totally different answer each time. Okay. Because as you change, you find these changes, and it just opens up. Like when I was 21, instead of being down in the, I actually won my tennis. I won my golf. I was actually good at sports. I towards playing teams, you've released all of this energy to look for the good in yourself. Like, and if you're going through a hard time, one of the things I'm doing, I'm not allowing you to go and beat yourself up. So, and that goes all the way back through. And as we learn that we were actually valued, we were valued by your parents, we were valued by friends, we were valued all the way through our lives, and even by our parents and grandparents and whatever else. The fact that we now know that we're valued brings us a whole new world. Now we're getting to, what I always say to people is lift your standard, raise your standard. No matter what you're doing, raise your standard. And when they do that, you raise your standard, how you approach your money. I'm going to look after my money a lot better. I'm going to look after my relationships a lot better. I'm not going to, if someone's around me who's trying to pull me back to my old standards, I'm going to stand firm. I don't even have the conversation. I just know that I'm going to raise my standards. And those people will either raise up or they'll spend less time with you because you'll make them uncomfortable, but that's up to them. But by constantly raising standards, by going back through and realizing that, that we were valued all the way through our lives. There's always going to be times. There's going to be rough times, and rough times make tough people. The rougher the time, the better you're going to come out of this, believe it or not. Like the hardest person to get the most out of is someone who's never had anything go wrong in their life. They go along in life and, everything's gone okay, but they're just sort of floating along. That's, now I've got to create an energy. But for most people, there's all this energy built up and hidden, and it just pops out of them. Like I've had people on the verge of quitting their jobs or in a lot of trouble in their jobs, and they're now gone on to be sales managers earning $300,000 a year, and it's only because we went back and we said, oh, actually that's not true. You weren't neglected. You weren't. Even though that happened to you, someone else took over, someone else loved you, someone else valued you, and they go, oh, I didn't realize, I forgot that. And they move on, So
it's really about so then it's really about taking that negative energy that's been created and getting the right perspective, and then redirecting that negative energy towards positive self-worth, positive valuing of yourself more realistically, as opposed to just looking at everything through the filter of all the negative trauma that happened. Is that right?
Yeah, but it's exactly it's finding the truth. Because in truth, most people have been loved all the way through their lives by people, right? And even if it's yourself, they've all had amazing moments, and it's allowing those to rise. So you're bringing out your truth. We're all born with this huge light inside it called our soul, and the easiest way to prove that is walk into a hospital and look at everybody looking at the newborns. They're attracted to the newborns. Why? Because they're this brilliant light. They're not pretty. I didn't say that out loud. But, why else are people looking at newborns? Because they're just different, because they're full of this beautiful light. And we've all got that inside us. What we're doing is we're taking away the negative energy that's holding our light down, and then allowing that light to shine within it. And I can't add to people what's not already there. And quite honestly, you could never add as much as what's inside of a person. It's more about uncovering people's truth, their honesty about themselves. And I've even worked with some racist people, and by the time we've finished, they find it extremely difficult to maintain their racism because it's a battle. It's not true. It's not. No one's born a racist. It's a learnt. It's a acquired thing, and you can't love and hate at the same time. It can't appear in the same spot. It's like light and darkness cannot be in the same space. You put light into dark, no longer dark. So it's amazing that people will actually it's really hard to try and hold those beliefs when you know they're not true, right? And whatever beliefs that you're trying to hang on to, they're not true, so they've got to go because they just can't exist anymore.
What would you say to someone who is listening to this and they hear something of themselves in this tendency to constantly replay negative events from the past, to evaluate themselves negatively based on those experiences? Do you have like a self-help 1, 2, 3 thing that you can teach people to begin help them move in the right direction? Is there such a thing?
Yeah, so the first thing you've got to do is understand those feelings are going to come and not hold on to them. Let them go. And that can be when you get home at night, before you walk into your house, just go and stand out the front somewhere near a tree or whatever and brush your body off and let those feelings go. Don't take them into the house. And it works. It actually simply just brushing your body off. And then each morning, set yourself an intention. So if you've got during the day, you find that you're allowing these negative thoughts to build up, set an intention in the morning that today you're not going to hold on to any negative thoughts. And every day can be a different intention or set an outcome, whatever the case may be. But get used to be aware of yourself. Oh, I'm holding on to negative. I'll just let it go, and then, or another day you might say, all right, every time the negative comes in, I'm going to think about something that inspires me. I don't like to say just positive, but, positive is good, but you can't just try and put a positive over a negative consistently. The best way to do it is to let that negative thought pass. Just step back as though you're in the traffic and let it go in the traffic. And but each morning, 10 minutes each morning, set your intention or set your outcome for the day. Today, I'm going to feel, I'm going to be inspired all day. Today, I'm going to just let any negatives go. I'm not going to worry about them today. And if you do this for weeks on end, the first day will be a bit harder, but as you go through and just consistently check yourself during the day, just simple things. Or today I'm going to finish a task. Start to get outcome focused. So during the day, all right, I haven't done this, even if it's just I haven't paid my bills. All right, today I'm going to pay my bills. Okay, so it's done. You might have been hanging on to that for weeks. Now it's done. You're clearing yourself out. You're clearing paths to allow things to flow. And the more things flow, then you're making great decisions. You're allowing your life to move on quickly.
Powerful. Yeah. So that makes a lot of sense. There's going to be people that are going to struggle and still recognize, I need help. I need that extra bit of feedback or, the different perspective to help me navigate through this. How does working with a coach, a life coach like you, how does that help them to make progress faster as opposed to trying to just figure it out themselves?
Okay, a great example of this is like if you go and watch the last 10 minutes of a movie, you haven't seen, the 2 hours before that last 10 minutes. So if that same movie, you just said, all right, well, let's grab the highlights out of the movie. That's there's 10 highlights in that movie. We'll grab those 10 highlights and then we'll grab the corresponding negative movements at the time. This is stuff that you probably would never go back to yourself. But by going back there with the coach and going and not dwelling on it, you're not there to relive it. You're not there to, there's moments that'll upset you, but there's moments that'll challenge you. But you don't go back and live there, and you'll go back and you go, all right, that moment there. Okay, so the truth of that moment was we were having a hard time, but we had a great outcome. People around me at the time, or when I was 2 years old, this was the talk around the table. Oh, that talk doesn't apply now. We were brand new. My parents were brand new parents then. We were having hard times, but my parents are fine now. They've moved on. Maybe I should move on as well. And by going back through those, it's like they leave us there and they move on. They've
right.
gone on to live their best life and we're left with the rubbish. But all of that. But you'll never go back there by yourself. You can try, but it's really hard. Whereas if you've got someone who's stepped aside and saying, well, what about that? And everyone always says to me, oh, this is what's going on, but I don't really mean that. I said, well, you just said it. It's true. So let's go down there. So we go down that rabbit hole and we find out that, maybe there was some truth to what I just said. Because we let these little gems go and we keep saying, no, it doesn't affect me, but that's not true because we just said it. So it's, so we go back through, pick the key moments, don't relive everything. And normally that's the first month and a half of the program is, hey, get ourselves up to speed. And then the next month and a half is, hey, how do we go, how do we accelerate this? And, so it's definitely, you got to remember, you've had a lifetime of this. It's not a 2-minute job, but, through someone being there to help you focus on what's good, what's bad, what else is going on, let's dig a bit harder here. There's something still bugging you in there. And then if, you get through the week or whatever, I don't even mind talking to my clients during the week. Give me a call. If you're off track, give me a quick call. 10 minutes later, we're back on track, because it's about an outcome. It's about how do we get you from here to on track, and I keep in touch with some old clients, and they still say to me that changed my life. They've gone on to have a happy family, whereas they're ready for a divorce. And just a simple. I have had people say to me in the past too, that's going to cost me too much. I'm going, well, you've been for the last. I might have known them for 3 or 4 years and just talking to them, as I said, by referral or people I've known. And, you're still down in the dumps. You're still having the same conversation now as you were 3 years ago. And I've had other people say to me, I had this conversation with someone 3 years ago. I haven't changed, but time's gone by, So, it does cost a bit of money because, it is a specialised field and we are changing your life. But the cost of hanging on to bad relationships or bad or worse still, the cost of they're all equal, but the cost of going into a divorce when you didn't have to, the cost of there's so many costs. I was working with a hoarder and his son, and he wouldn't let them clean out the house, and it got to a point where the county was saying either clean out the house and make it safe because there was a fire hazard, or we're knocking this thing down. It's a $700,000 house or a lot worth $100,000, and we did that. And we made the connection between the father and son. The father released to the son the task of cleaning out the house, which was no mean feat, I can tell you. There was 5 skip bins. It was massive. It was newspapers piled to the ceiling all through the house. But and then a fire truck come in and hosed it all down for them. So he had a job, but the dad wouldn't release it. The dad released it, and now they've got this magnificent home worth $750,000 that would have been a pile of rubble.
Yeah.
You know, like the cost of not doing this stuff, you know, and even you know, the emotional cost of being single. You know, when I'm talking to people who've been through a breakup, they say, I'm never going to go out with another person in my life. I go, no, you're not. No, that's not true. We're not going to put up with that. And next thing you know, they're out there dating again. And I know if they disappear and don't talk to me for a couple of months, they're dating someone that they know they shouldn't be. But that's their choice. But they get back out there again because and, you know, we make these choices in life. As I said, you know, people know when they're on track and when they're not on track. But when you're newly single out of a long marriage, sometimes you feel like making mistakes.
Sure.
And that's part of the journey, you know. And so just keeping life moving.
Well, the name of the program is Transform to Your Best Life, and this is from Andrew Dale, who's a life coach. You can find out more by going to the website. It's andrewjdale.com, and we'll have that link on the Rebelpreneur website as well. Whatever your position in life right now, if you know you need to make a change and you also know that you need help making that change, as most of us do, you can reach out to Andrew and consult with him and allow him to help you to transform to your best life. Andrew, do you have any final thoughts or words of wisdom that you would like to leave with our listeners?
My truth is, the truth of the whole matter is we're looking for you to live your true life, you know, your best life. You are, you're the leader of generations to come generally. Are you, you know, look at your generational wealth, look at the horizon, look at your, so many people, they get insular, you boil down into a very insular place, and you can't see the horizon from the bottom of the hill, you know. And my thoughts for people is that you've got to go through steps to see the real horizon. Can you imagine creating generational wealth for the people around you? Imagine creating a life where the ripple effect of your life is helping your friends, your loved ones, and yourself to accelerate into the rest of your life. You know, opening it up, being able to stand on top of the hill, being able to go out on a sailboat and look at the horizon and sail to the next horizon to see where the next horizon is. You know, there's so much out there to live. You know, let's do that. Let's not be where we are today in 5-10 years time, which is, you know, quite often the case. You know, you make a decision, move forward and start, you know, the new horizons are amazing, but you'll never get to see them until you start to live your best life, to uncover your true self and continually raise your standards and be around people you should be around. And the people around you will lift as well. You know, it's an amazing thing. As we lift our standards, we don't have to have conversations about it with everyone. We just change our energy, change what we will and won't accept around us, and accept our best life as what it should be, and understand that we deserve our best life, and live with that solid energy. You know, positive energy, but solid energy, living an inspired life. You know,
Sure.
live your inspired life.
And you know what? If we would do that, we can leave a legacy instead of living and suffering through things that are 100 years old. We could start a chain of events that have a positive impact 100 years from now through the legacy that we leave behind and the people that we are touching in our life and in our business. That's a powerful motivation, that it's bigger than you, and it gives you purpose and meaning and a reason to get up in the morning, not just to create your best life, but to help influence and impact the lives of everyone around you. Very inspiring. Andrew Dale, thank you so much for joining us on Rebelpreneur Radio today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Ralph. It was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
You've been listening to Rebelpreneur Radio with Ralph Brogden. Download the show notes and much more at rebelpreneur.com.